What's going on? Welcome to Conversations with a New Renaissance. This is our fourth episode, so appreciate you for tuning in. I'm here with Brayden Pomirko,
Hello.
a collaborator, a friend, and an amazing photographer who you have to check out. Today we're going to talk about his journey, what he's done, and have a conversation about creativity and how you at home can do anything you want if you just put your mind to it. Just kidding. But, the normal thing. How can we help you at home kind of level up that journey and try to do the damn thing, whatever it is. Creativity, photography, videography, exotic fish collecting, the vibe is. So, appreciate you for being on, my brother.
Getting way too much gas, I feel, already early.
Come
Not
on,
comfortable
bro.
with getting all of the gas.
Nah, you'll be all right. We're going to gas you up a ton more this episode. But,
Okay.
we've worked a lot together, done a lot
Yeah.
of cool shit so far, and appreciate you always helping out.
Yeah.
I guess we'll open it up with your story. How did you get into photography and kind of give us the whole backstory of Brayden? And then we'll kind of go from there.
So I got into photography probably when I was 14. I think it's been almost 12 years now, which is kind of crazy. I got my mom's camera. It was specifically a Nikon D3100. I'll never forget it till the day I die. I just had like a singular lens, and I just was taking pictures of shoes, funny enough. Like I was collecting Jordans, and like at the time, I guess the like KDs and Kobe's, all those shoes that
That era
everyone
was so
hates now.
sick.
Everyone hates them now, which I mean, I guess they kind of had their space in like history. But I would take tons of pictures of my shoes. I was also collecting shoes. My shoe collection stuff kind of turned into streetwear-ish, but it was more like very corny streetwear, like Supreme and Bape and all of that stuff. And then, I don't know, after a while, I kind of just got out of shoes. They started becoming less interesting to me, I guess. And honestly, I guess the shoe game just started dying. Like, no one really is a sneakerhead anymore. Like, it used to be crazy. Like, every single person used to have tons of shoes. I don't know, the game just started kind of dying out, and I just started caring less and less about it. But I continued to take pictures just because that was what I mostly enjoyed from the process in itself. And so, yeah, stopped doing the shoes, picked up the camera, and I just randomly started taking a ton of different pictures, started experimenting. I mean, the pictures, looking back on them, are like literally terrible. But that was definitely, I guess, my like intro window into doing photography. I met a lot of like cool people, which I'm like sort of friends with now in the game, that kind of went on to different stuff. Actually, one of my funny side story, one of my really good friends that I used to collect shoes with, he's like a DP now, like for crazy stuff. He actually just went on tour with Turnstile
That's
as
so
like
sick.
their lead videographer. And I actually messaged him the other day, and I was like, bro, are you on tour with Turnstile? That is insane. So that was kind of cool, just like seeing, I guess, it's like maybe like a natural development, I guess, from like sneakers, clothing into pictures and whatnot. But I guess to fast forward, I mostly did pictures as like a favor for my friends. I would obviously take pictures that I thought were cool just for fun. But I would mostly do like actual gigs for my friends whenever they would ask for senior photos, or if they needed family pictures or something like that. So I never really necessarily took photography seriously as like gigs, if that makes sense. It was mostly just doing it for like the love of the game, I guess. And then the money stuff was always just like a side thing that came as almost like a necessity from, people who were close with me. And then randomly met some people in high school, started taking pictures of actual people for once, I guess, in terms of like actual doing portrait photography and stuff like that. College came by. I took like a big break like my junior and senior year because I just played sports all throughout high school. And I don't know, I just kind of fell off. I didn't have a lot of time, I guess, to take pictures. But then in college, I really wanted to start picking it back up because I went to Texas, obviously. So I wanted to start taking pictures again just because the area was much better. Like my hometown is so barren and desolate. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm literally pulling at strings to find stuff to take pictures at. So in college, I actually joined like a magazine and stuff. I joined Spark, did all that, met a lot of cool people. Still friends with a lot of people from that today. And then, yeah, I did all through Spark, started kind of, I guess, snowballing from there, started maybe taking a little bit more creative pictures, working with more people. But it still kind of had that feeling to me that I never was really doing it as a business. It was always just something that I like loved to do. That was kind of like I guess like a step out of work and reality and just whatever I had going on. It was more of just like that outlet that I got to have that was really fun. It wasn't really until maybe mid last year that I started meeting a lot more people, and because I always kind of struggled with thinking, like I always thought my work was cool, but just thinking that other people thought it was cool was always like kind of a struggle. I never really knew, but I started meeting a lot of people that started telling me that my work was really good, and then I should start like trying to do it more and actually meeting with other people and trying to do gigs. And so I relatively started to do it seriously, and I don't know, ever since then it's kind of been this random snowball of more and more things popping up and meeting more and more people, which I guess is like the natural progression of photography. I had such a strong like baseline understanding of taking pictures, and then once I kind of combined that with the right people and the right creative teams and outlets, I think that it kind of was just like a match made in heaven. So yeah, I don't know, it's kind of snowballing. That was kind of like a really long-winded
No, it's
version
great.
of my story, but yeah, so it's been really fun. I've enjoyed meeting a ton of new people, but yeah, super
Love.
crazy.
No, it's sick. So now the realm you're in is kind of just everything that like presents itself to you that like you attach yourself to.
Right.
Do you have a specific end goal in mind? Like, I want to be X. I want to do this full time. I want to own my own studio. Do you have any goals like that at the end?
That's actually an interesting question. It's something that I've mulled over for a really long time. Um, because I don't know. So photography to me has always been, like I mentioned earlier, has always been like that escape from reality. And I feel like whenever you do photography as a full-time job, that opens the window for you to do gigs and just like photo shoots that don't necessarily speak to you all that much. It's more just something that you're doing for money, which there's obviously nothing wrong with that. And that is like a goal of mine that I think could be fun if I found the right opportunity. But I've always loved using photography as my like break away and never having the restraints of like, I have like a real estate photography job I have to do today, or just like random stuff like that that seems to take the fun out of it. I never want to stop losing the fun in photography, and I think that's where a lot of people like maybe make a mistake, as like, given I'm not necessarily like a professional, but in terms of what's worked for me, always treating it as something that's fun and not necessarily a job is something that will let it go on forever. And I also think that lets your work speak through your pictures. If you end up doing stuff that like you're not very interested in, but you're only doing it for money, you can almost always tell in photos that this was a gig that somebody got paid for. I can tell that they didn't really want to do this, but this person was going to pay him money and they just went to go do a gig. And it's whatever. Obviously that's how some people live, and more power to you. But just in terms of, I don't know, I kind of like the stability of being able to have my 9 to 5 and make money and to cover bills and just do whatever I need to do, and then also have photography still allow me to have that creative outlet and not necessarily get like driven into a corner of having to find gigs that I'm not necessarily interested in because I have to have that money to like pay my rent or pay bills. So yeah, I don't know. I've always mulled over if I maybe got like the opportunity of like a lifetime with like working for some crazy celebrity, like being their individual photographer, and they're paying me like a crazy amount of money, then I might do it. Obviously, I mean, you can really never say yes or no unless the opportunity actually came up to you and presented itself. But I don't know. It's definitely like an age-old question to me almost, in terms of like if I would actually do it full time. So yeah, I don't know. It's definitely something that I've pondered over for forever. But in terms of like a studio and stuff, like yeah, obviously I'd love to have like my own studio or even like a warehouse to where I can like hold creative projects. That's obviously something that can always come about like once you get later in life. But that's why I love photography, because it doesn't really have like an age like thing to where it deteriorates after a while. Like clothes, it's like you can always wear clothes, but like maybe you start losing your spark for like clothing, or clothes start fitting you differently like as you get older, and like you have to start making proportions weird and stuff. But like photography is timeless. You can take pictures when you're 80. Like it takes really nothing. It's really just like if your brain is still like functioning. So yeah, that's kind of something that I'm definitely looking at later in life. But yeah, as of now, I'm okay with just doing, I guess, the 9 to 5 and doing stuff that inspires me. So
No, I hear you. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I think goals in like your creative realm are like not really that important. I think it's you're expressing like keep it as pure as you can. try to just have the most fun with it as you can, and then from there it's like whatever happens happens. You know what I mean? Like if
Yeah.
you just told me you're like, getting featured on a magazine now,
Right.
like things like that just end up happening when you kind of just don't have like, oh, I need to have this goal or this thing.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly. Well, I also just think, I don't know, whenever, because like I said, whenever you have those like stipulations, you're almost cornered into like doing something that it's like, this might not go anywhere. This probably will never go anywhere. Like, let's say somebody books you and they're like, I don't know, they're a real estate agent and they're like, hey, can we just take a few pictures so I can use it on my real estate agent website?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yes, this is, and they're like, I'll pay you $1,000. And so it's like, great, yeah, I'm getting this $1,000, but I know the shoot does not inspire. I don't care about the shoot at all. It doesn't really inspire me to do anything. Obviously, I'm making money from it, but I also know after the fact that the shoot is pretty much just going to go into like the nether realm. I'm like probably never going to see this again. I'm never going to look over it. So yeah, I don't know. Obviously, having goals is like really good and being goal oriented, and that's truly something I'm trying to get better at. But I'm just trying to find that middle ground of having like goals that I also think are really cool and fun. I'm not trying to like set goals as just a fiscal amount that I like want to reach, because I just think that kind of jades my view of photography and just like what I want it to be in my life. So yeah, just trying to like stray away from being like, oh, if I don't make $50,000 this year off photography, it was a failure this year. Like, it's not necessarily like that. Like,
Yeah.
I've been trying to do like more free work with people, just that like cool people that you can meet and build out teams, relationships. Like, that stuff is invaluable. That's way more important to me than like money would ever be. I think obviously the money will come. If you really love the pictures, the money's going to be there. Like, you'll end up taking great pictures and somebody's going to see it that will pay you. So kind of just trusting the process that way, I think is the most valuable, and you really can't replicate that, I don't think, with any like dollar amount. So.
I agree. That's what I'm trying to build, like the whole community thing we're talking about, like the Discord, building out like community events, dinners, things, because the teams and like the people you can meet can open up the doors to so many things. So without having like an expectation in it, like, oh, because I'm doing this, I'm going to receive this.
Right.
Like in my opinion, creatively, I think it's like the most limiting thing, like you're saying, to just be like, oh, I need to do this so I can get X, or I need to do X so I can get Y. I need to do like, it just limits yourself. Like, oh, I want to grow on TikTok, so I need to post 5 times a day. It's like, well, what if you just have to make one insane post, gets 1 million views? You know what I mean?
Right.
Versus having to pump out 5 shitty ones every day. You know what I mean? Or 10.
Yeah, I agree.
Have like that grace with yourself to kind of be like open to the process. So like your first pictures may suck, your first mixtape may suck, your first drop may suck, but as long as you're like still continuing forward and like just doing it for doing its sake, you know what I mean? I think that's when things kind of start to like magically open. Like that's when the overnight successes happen. When it's like, I'm just opening myself up to the game. Whatever happens, happens. You know, I'm going to do the things I like and enjoy them and put them out to the world, and then kind of go from there and see where it falls.
Well, I think you also, I mean, you and I probably both have seen this, but I think people would probably be extremely surprised to learn how many people are willing to just like do stuff and work with you.
Yeah.
I'm actually about to shoot like a fashion show for this fashion designer, and he just put a random message in an Instagram DM and was like, hey guys, I'm looking for, you know, people to come help out. Like, I'm running a fashion show. It's not like paid or anything, but I'm trying to run it. I think it'd be really cool. And literally within 30 minutes got like a full team of people with hair, makeup, people who were willing to cast, help creative direct. We had a call the other day and they were talking about they had sponsors like lined up for it. And I was like, this literally got put together in like a day. Sick. And so like, I don't know if that's necessarily something that's only conducive to Austin, or if that's like something that happens in other places as well. But it's very reassuring to see like certain people being able to separate the money from, you know, a bigger idea or something that they think could be really cool and also live on for them, which I think is something that I'm trying to focus on as well, is just like making content or just doing photography that will live on from like whatever this photo shoot is. That's why, I don't know, I feel like I see a lot of photographers who kind of corner themselves into one like area of the market. Like, for example, if you're a real estate photographer, or if you only do weddings, that's obviously like more of the career route of being a photographer, because unfortunately just freelancing in photography is such a hard and incredibly taxing gig that really not a lot of people see full success with it. I mean, and so, yeah, I don't know. It's definitely interesting to see like people do stuff for free and just kind of band together and, I don't know, I guess make like an end goal product, even if the money's not there. But that's kind of the same thing you were talking about in terms of like opening up, you know,
Yeah.
your mind, and not necessarily being like, if I'm doing this for you, what do I get in return? It doesn't necessarily have to be what do I get in return, because I don't know, the relationships you make there, and even like the eyes that you'll get on something. If you make a good enough product, you're gonna get tons of eyes on it, and that in itself is literally maybe even 10 more clients. You never know. Like, you never know who's gonna see what you do. So yeah, free work is definitely
Yeah.
something that I think is super cool and an interesting topic, I guess, in like the creative space. So.
Yeah. I think another crazy thing, like the reason I do like this conversations, like podcast, I do a clothing brand, I do community events, I have the Discord, I have so many angles to hit people at, because I think when people start a thing, whether it be photography, videography, clothes, music, whatever it is, people want to like see a success in that. Like, oh, I'm a fashion designer, I want to be a successful one. I'm a photographer, I want to be a successful photographer. When in reality, you may just want to be like a fashion videographer, but you don't even know it yet. Like, and the way to kind of make that make sense is like, if you're only focused on, I want to take pictures of shoes my whole life, right? You may not realize that 3 years from now, you don't like shoes anymore. So
Right.
in my opinion, when you're starting out, open yourself up to the realm of possibilities. You may do one cool shoot, and then someone invites you to do like a runway shoot. Maybe you've never done one before, and it turns out you have a crazy eye for it.
Right.
And that might be like a lane you find yourself in. So in my opinion, the goals you may set for yourself, like, honestly, fuck them. I think it's more so, can you just do some work, see what happens, see what the market's responding to? Like, are people saying it's great? Are your friends giving you tips? Are there things you can learn? You know, is there something, I guarantee for you, there's something in a shoot you can do and you're like, I never want to do that again. I want to
Yeah,
do that
absolutely.
on my, like, you know what I mean? Or like something you loved and you're like, I need to do that again.
Right.
You know, you always learn something from doing. So in my opinion, just do as much as you can and open up yourself to these opportunities, because you may have this one goal of like, I'm going to do photography at the highest level for Louis Vuitton. But who knows, you may actually love the fact that you're doing street photography in New York, and that may be
Right.
your thing, you know? So open yourself up to all these possibilities is what I think is like, what
Yeah.
I'm trying to do with my brand is, instead of just like, I'm going to design clothes, people who love the clothes, it's like, where can I meet my ideal target client at? And my
Yeah.
ideal client is like you. It's like my friends. It's like people who just
Exactly.
want to do cool things, you know?
Well, also, I think, I don't know. So something that I think isn't talked about necessarily enough is like you were mentioning success, essentially, in terms of having a creative career. But I do feel like, I don't know, I feel like there's such a disconnect in like what success is to like a creative. I feel like success, I guess, in terms of how everyone has been like mentally and conditionally trained, is that success is always equivalent to like money or fiscal value, which it pains me so much, because I hate that term, because like I was mentioning earlier, like you can be like, you can do stuff that you literally don't care about at all that might give you money, but at the end of the day, I don't know. So to me, in terms of like being successful, I just want like, I want to make things that I really think is cool, and I want to make moments for other people and let other people have their moments. I don't necessarily sometimes even care all that much about, that's why I do so much free work, is that, I don't know, at the end of the day, like money's going to come. And that's also another reason why I keep my 9 to 5, just because it allows success to be manipulated for me, in terms of, I don't need success to be making $1 million off of photography, because I mean, I already have like a 9 to 5, and I'm not a millionaire at my 9 to 5, but like, I mean, I make enough money to like comfortably live at my 9 to 5. And that kind of gives me the ability to be like, okay, maybe success isn't me making $1 million off of this. Maybe success is like helping one of my friends curate their vision into like what they see in their head, just putting it out into like a frame and letting other people see it. Or maybe it's like doing something for free and, you know, helping somebody achieve, like they have a runway that they want to do, but they don't necessarily have the funds to run this runway. So maybe I do that for free and like let them achieve their dream. That to me is way fucking cooler than doing like a $300 shoot for somebody who wants like LinkedIn headshots or something. Like that to me is almost invaluable. So like, I don't know. I think there's such a disconnect in like what I think success is in the creative thing. And I think whenever people get into it, it's almost like the way you determine if you're good or bad at photography is if you're making money. And I just feel like that's such like a dishonest way to look at taking photos. And it's not even just photos. It's everything. Like truly it's any version of creativity that you express yourself through. Like if you're an artist, a writer, clothing, if you're a DJ, like you never need to equivalent to making money. It just doesn't ever make sense to me. And so yeah, I don't know. That's kind of like a big pet peeve of mine, is like, I guess whenever people are trying to equivalate success to like just making money. I don't know.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think a great point you mentioned is like what defines like a successful person, right? At the end of that, you're like, I think what defines anyone who's successful is just, are you doing it?
Yeah.
And especially in the creative realm, I think it's like, are you doing it and putting it out? That's a big one.
Right.
Because we've even talked, like putting out TikToks, you're not like loving that. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like not fun.
Frankly, I hate it. So,
Like, I think the biggest thing is if you're starting at all, if you're trying to do it, like, just do the work and put it out. Because you, as an artist, you'll find out very quick that you like know you can give yourself feedback immediately. You're like, that wasn't that good. You know what I mean? You can do better.
Right.
Or you can look on Pinterest or you look on Instagram or you see a great picture, like, I want to emulate that. And not to copy their art, but like, I know I can do that. You know?
Of course.
I play guitar and I can hear a guitar solo. I'm like, I know I can do that. And that's what makes me like do the work I do now. Is like, I know I can do that. I know I can have a conversation with you. I know I can like inspire some people to like try. When someone DMs me like, hey, I want to do this. Can you help me? Yes, 100%. Like, I think what makes you successful is just being able to do the work. Like, are you there? Are you the one taking pictures? Are you trying to find an opportunity to do it? Yeah. In any case, if it is the real estate stuff, if it is fashion shows, if it's whatever, just like pick up the camera and get the fucking work. You know, like
absolutely.
that's like the easiest way to find success, and wherever that success is, it's just, can you just go out there and do some fucking work? You know.
Well, that's also the fun part about it, because I mean, I guess like the natural path from that is like, let's say somebody picked up a camera today, right, and they start taking pictures, and they're like, well, my pictures don't look like yours. Like, I thought I just wanted to do, but like, that's like the beauty of it is, and I also kind of talk to my friends a lot about like dreams, for example, and like falling in love with like the chase. Because obviously if you pick up a camera today, you're going to have to work, like you're just inevitably, you're going to have to take a lot of pictures. Like, you're going to have to do photography for a really long time to start like developing whatever your style is and just understanding stuff. It's not even that you necessarily have to like go to school and learn everything about a camera, because honestly, I'm not even that technical of a photographer. I don't really know the like ins and outs of all camera settings and whatnot, but I just kind of have learned through brute force and experience and making tons of mistakes. Like, making mistakes is like the biggest learner, I think, in terms of actually shooting. Just like going out there, and I don't know, I have so many shoots, and it sucks obviously when you have a bad shoot. No one wants to like go out and have a bad shoot, but you learn like so much from those, and you will never make the same mistake again, because seeing your mistakes actually in a picture are like the worst feeling ever, because you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. So like, I don't know, I guess like falling in love with the chase, and I don't know, letting like the actual path to the dreams be more of the dream than actually achieving it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just because like you gotta fall in love with the process. It's so cliche, and you know, everybody says it for everything. It's like, fall in love with the process, but it really is true. Like, if you don't love doing it like every day, and you don't love doing it for free, then you're just gonna hate it. So you kind of have to fall in love, I guess, with that process of like just starting and then staying consistent and just continually, if it's photography, taking pictures, or if it's writing every day, or you know, whatever it may be, but just trying to like stay the course after like picking up, because it's one thing to start and it's one thing to continue. It's almost like a New Year's resolution. Like, people on New Year's, like, you know, like the gyms are always packed on like January 4th, but then like you get to March and it's like, okay, it's back to normal. So it's like there is that aspect of doing it, but it's more like you have to start and then also like continue. You really have to have that connected there, or it's just like never going to work out, I guess. So.
Yeah, I agree. So you mentioned like fuck ups and like, you know, bad shots, right? I think it sounds kind of crazy because it's more concrete. Like, you take the picture, you're like, you bring it home, you're like,
I know, it's like, it's very tangible.
You can't go back to the drawing board with it.
I know, it's very tangible. Like with writing, for example, like you're like, oh, I can erase that. Like, there's
no
like,
erasing. A
you
filter
can't, like,
can only
unless
help
you
out so much.
Yeah, unless you have the budget to book somebody for like a reshoot or something. But at the end of the day, like, no, like, unless you have some crazy production, no one's doing reshoots. So like, yeah, it's like very, very tangible, and it's especially scary for like high intensity moments. For example, I've done a few like proposals. Those are the scariest because like obviously you can like stage them, but then like no one wants to stay because like then you get like fake reactions but like those are so scary because like with like a wedding, for example, you've got like 6 hours, and it's like I know I'm gonna get good pictures in 6 hours. Like if I don't get 6 hours worth of things, if I don't get one or a few good pictures, then like just kick me out.
Yeah.
But like proposals are 20 seconds, bro. Like you have to be so dialed to take pictures of proposals. It's like the scariest thing ever. And also I get super nervous during proposals, and I'm not even like the person who's like in it, but bro, it's so scary.
I bet that's terrifying.
It's literally so scary. And like you have to sprint up too, like because normally you're trying to like hide or like there has to be something. You obviously can't just be like standing with your camera like right next to the guy. Like you have to have some kind of creative thing that you're like hiding in a bush or something. So bro, my hands are always shaking so bad because I'm like I have to get it right now. So
the anxiety, that must be nightmarish.
Yeah, that's like a super side tangent from like the tangible things, but yeah.
one of my buddies, they did like a huge music video shoot, and they spent like $7,000. The rapper did like on Lambo, not Lambo. I think it was like Corvettes to rent for this whole video shoot. They got all the footage, and then they dropped the camera on their like back seat and corrupted all the footage.
Oh my
Dude,
God, I would have lost.
I
my
literally,
mind.
I was like, no way, bro. Like,
Hopefully that got well, dude. It sucks for the footage. I was gonna say, the one thing. This is super side tangent, but I've been thinking about getting an LLC because you can insure like your gear, right? So if I drop my camera like this unfortunate gentleman, if I drop my camera, I can like just claim it on insurance and go get a new one. But I mean, bro, you're with the footage, you're just done.
It's over.
It's just done.
it's over. He told me that story. I was like, you're kidding me.
No, that's actually so
like,
unfortunate. I think you just
you're ready to
up.
edit. You're like, let's go. It's gonna be the best thing
Yeah,
I've
you
shot.
actually just chalk that up. It's just not your day, unfortunately.
literally,
like, you just
yeah.
have to,
It wasn't meant to be.
that one. No, it literally just wasn't. Bro.
Yeah.
You just have to chalk that one up as a loss, bro.
Yeah. One thing I'll ask you now is basically like inspiration. We do a lot of different shoots, and you yourself do so many different things. Where do you find the inspiration, or like how do you come up with ideas to like? Because what you've done is you've come up to me with ideas, or you go to models and you're like, hey, let's do this, this, and this.
Right.
Where do you find the inspiration to kind of do these things?
I'm not gonna lie. I think honestly, a lot of my ideas. I mean, obviously, like anybody else, I take inspiration from just random stuff that I see. Just either scrolling on like social media or one of my friends doing something. But and one thing I'll say about like inspiration, I think it's always important to like. You see a certain idea and it's like, how do I build something that's my own off of this? Like, let's use like one aspect of this. I love how they did this one thing. Let me use that and make it like either cooler or just like more pertain to me. Something in a way where you're not just completely ripping somebody. I think that's like such a huge thing because obviously like Pinterest is like such a large thing and people just recreate Pinterest photos and tattoos or whatever. That's like such a big rabbit hole. But in terms of like how I come up with some of my stuff, a lot of the times I really try to think of something that just doesn't even make sense to me, and I try to like think about how I can mold that into being a photo shoot. I've started to really fall in love with, I guess, this surreal style of photography because it kind of doesn't really have any limits, and like you'll see like a surreal photo and you'll be like, this makes really no sense. I mean, this doesn't really tell that crazy of a story per se, but it's so interesting to look at.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I find stuff like that fascinating, like people being like head first down in a trash can and you're like, what on earth? I did a photo shoot. I made my girlfriend put a traffic cone on her head just because I was like, I don't know, like let's see what works. I don't know. I throw a lot of stuff like just kind of into the wind, like, and I'm like, what is the craziest thing I can think of for a shoot? And I tried to just execute on that. I've like thought about shooting with like bouncy houses and like just like crazy stuff. Also, another underrated one I think is like bringing back like childlike wonder into photo shoots. Like everything always feels so serious and like studio blanketed with perfect key lights and all soft boxes and all this stuff. But I don't know. That's why I love shooting outside, just because I feel like it kind of brings that like childlike wonder back into photography for me. And normally when I go down that rabbit hole, I almost always come out of it with a new idea, whether it's like something that's fleshed out or something that's maybe just like a spark. But I don't know, something that's super important to me is kind of logging everything. Even if it's like the most random idea that I have, I'll log it in like a big board. And I'm like, I don't know when I'm going to use these, but this is just a random shoot idea that I had. And I kind of just keep like a large list of stuff that I think would be interesting to do, which like, I'm not going to lie, I don't normally use them. I sometimes do, but it just kind of depends on. The only time I use them is really if, some model's like, I just want to work with you. Let's see what we can create. Then I'll like, okay, got to go to the big board of ideas, I guess. But a lot of times like models have like certain things that they are like thinking of, and you kind of have to help them, I guess, curate that vision into what they have in their brain. So
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. A big thing is, I guess, just kind of trying to think of the craziest thing, because I find that that's the easiest way to do something that no one's done before. Like if you start scrolling, like obviously Pinterest is good, I think, for like posing techniques and ideas and stuff along those lines. But I find that just really creating like the craziest thing you can think of is your best chance of doing something that not a single other person has done before. If you like look on Pinterest for your entire shoot idea, you're going to make something that's pretty much similar to something else that has already been done. So I don't know. I kind of like the idea of like just doing the most random thing possible and trying to make something that people are like, oh, I really haven't seen this before. I guess it's like sort of maybe it's like kind of liminal space almost. It's like, oh, I haven't really, this sort of seems familiar, but I can't really put my finger on where I've seen something like this. So yeah, I don't know. That's kind of, I guess, my creative process. It's definitely not the most streamlined.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't want it to be streamlined. I feel like streamlined creativity is just kind of like counterintuitive. No.
Yeah,
Like,
I think like it almost needs to be messy.
yeah.
You know, like most creative people have like a messy past or a messy like brain. Like I have all these ideas that pop off. Like how can I make them concrete? I think that's what you're really good at. Is I'll come to you with ideas and you concrete them out. Like okay, we can actually. This is achievable. This is like we need different gear for this. This is going to be way too hard. And we were talking about those box shoots today where I want to do things on.
Yep.
You know, and like it's gonna be hard to frame that. It's like, all right, now we can kind of work from there.
Yeah,
and kind of
logistics
concrete it out.
literally should be like a full extra job in like photography.
Legitimately.
Because like you can, but I don't know. I prefer like coming up with something super crazy because I think the way you go about it is the right way to go about it. Like you think of something that's really crazy. I think you should have something crazy and be told no than like just think of something that's always the most easy and logical shoot to do. Because like, I mean, if you're always thinking of what's the easiest, then you're never really gonna come up with anything that's like cool or creative, you know? So I don't know. I think that's always the way to go about it. I think you always go big and then worst case scenario, logistics wise, you're like, I don't think we're going to be able to pull it off versus just like, hey, I think we should shoot in a studio in black and white or just like stand in the forest and take a picture. You know, it's like, okay, we can definitely do it. But like, I don't know. I'd kind of rather be told no in terms of like of logistics than just think of like some plain ass shit to do. So
yeah, I do agree. I think logistics should be a full-time job.
Dude, it definitely is. I don't even know what that would be called. I mean, I'm sure like the biggest photographers, like you got to think for like all these big companies, like there's so many jobs in like the creative space you haven't heard of. Like one photo shoot, you'll have like 20 different people, all with different job titles. I'm like, dude, I did not even know this was like a thing.
Literally.
I'm still new to like the professional side of photography, I guess, in terms of like the different positions and how much easier, because I was always just doing everything myself. Like every single thing, I just did it myself. And then, I don't know, once you start working with like teams, like you have a stylist, makeup, you have like creative director, stylist, and all this crazy stuff, you're like, damn, I did not know that it could be like way easier than what I was making it on myself.
Yeah.
Like it just ends up being like such when the team, and that's also something I've been trying to like learn is like let people be professionals at what they're professional at. Like you don't have to be a professional at 25 different things. Like just be professional at what you love, what's really good. So I like, fuck it, I'm going to focus on photography and I'm going to let whoever does logistics run my thing. They're good at logistics. I'm terrible at them. So let them handle how to figure this out. Like just let people be professionals at what they have been training at their whole lives. I feel like that's, even aside from creativity, I feel like that's something that like, even in society, people just like don't want people to be professionals at stuff. They're like, oh, they're lying. And I'm like, bro, they do this for a living. Like, why don't you trust like the professional? Like,
my whole goal is to be able to delegate as much as I can out from the company. I want it to be a creative thing where all of us have the input. Like the photographer has as much input as the makeup person. Like the stylist has as much as the hairstylist, whatever it may be. The videographer, you know what I mean? Like I want everyone to have an input to what the end goal is. I don't want it to be a me thing. I want it to be an us thing, you know?
That's always so fun too. Yeah. I mean, I think like we were talking about, just having that team to like bounce ideas off of. And I think that's like a big part of our relationship, I guess, is that like you kind of come to me and even if I don't really even give you any extra input, just having like a sounding wall to be like, is this cool? Is this not cool? Like, and then when you have like, because it's just us two a lot of the times, if you have like 5, 6, 7 people, something like that, and you're bouncing stuff off of everybody, then like you get the most unlimited amount of ideas and then you kind of are able to hone in on what you want to do like so much quicker and like in the easier way too. Like it gets so hard when you're trying to do stuff by yourself or just like even me and you sometimes we're trying to think of stuff and we're like, oh my God, we need so much help.
Advice for you at home. My favorite thing, like my favorite lesson from all these conversations has just been get people involved. I say it on every single podcast, but like, man, the amount of time I've saved by just talking my ideas through with someone else. And even if it's crazy, like I just got coffee before this and I was literally just saying my ideas out loud and just hearing them out loud is so much more different. Being able to bounce them off people is like so helpful. I came to the conclusion of what the next campaign is going to be called within like 10 minutes of just saying my ideas out. And like, I was so lost. My God, I'll tell you about the ideas after this, but like, man, it was so much stuff, but it's so much better when you have people not to reassure you, to give you the validation, but like to just say them out loud so you can kind of hear it. Like, what do they think about this? You know?
Yeah.
Because another thing, in my opinion, I think it's like art is in itself, all the creativity, the photography, videography, clothes are meant to be enjoyed. They're meant to be shared. Pictures are great for yourself if you're making a family thing. But if you're going out there with the goal, I want to be a photographer, you unfortunately need to show people that you're a photographer.
Yeah, I think I'd agree.
Yeah, and not to pull all your work out there, but like, show people what you're working on. It doesn't need to be on Instagram. You could be just texting your friends. You be, doing something for an artist, maybe have them tag you in a picture. You know what I mean? If you're just putting it out there, you'll get the response back, whether you need to work on something, whether you want to work on something because you see the picture, you see the comments and the love. Maybe you're like, wow, I got to keep doing that. And the more you can get people involved in your thing, the quicker you'll find, like, I really don't like the real estate photography. I really don't like weddings. I really love proposals, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just trying to get out of that box of, like, I want to be a photographer. Like, where do I go? And so you bounce all these ideas off your head. It's kind of, like, annoying, to be honest. And the time I've wasted in the echo chamber of my thoughts, not fun. Yeah. So get people involved. That's why we work so much together. Like, almost pretty much every fucking idea I have, I go to you with it. The idea, the photography ideas, the campaigns, everything. I just kind of run it by you.
Yeah. I'll also say, I think that is, like, the most underrated thing about, like, me and you in terms of, like, bringing ideas to each other. I feel like something that I've tried to do a little bit better is, like, actually do, which it's a double-edged sword, and I'll explain why, but trying to have, like, friends first before business. Mm-hmm. To me is really important. I know it's not necessarily, like, the best practice, and it's kind of a double-edged sword because, like, your business ends up lacking. And I'm trying to, like, kind of have a happy medium now where I actually sort of treat myself like a business in terms of, like, the product, but also kind of still keep those relationships. But I've just found it so much easier to convey, like, what you want to do with somebody who you're friends with or that you've, like, met up with. I almost always try, unless there's, like, random circumstances, but I always try to meet up with somebody and, like, hang out with them. Even if they're just coming to a shoot for a little bit, I'd like to chill for 30 minutes before and just, like, talk and get to know you before we even start shooting, because it's so hard to develop that connection, like, through photography, I guess. Like, if you're just doing it through the pictures, you can almost tell, like, that you've never met somebody before. Like, and I almost always find that my pictures that I take are always the best at the end of the shoot, just because at that point, like, I'm starting to know the person and get a little bit more comfortable with them and, like, how they're moving and what they're going to do. So I think, like, a big part in terms of, like, us having that is, like, the friendship always, I feel like, comes first. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be, like, something that's for, like, a campaign or for business. Like, we're just, like, friends and crack jokes or whatever. But that's kind of how I at least try to treat. Obviously, like, you're not going to be able to just be friends with everybody, and, like, it is hard to come by friends. But, like, when you can, like, try to make an effort to, like, be nice and actually be friends to people has been such a crazy game changer for me, because I don't know, just doing, like, the business thing, it makes your pictures feel so monotonous, and then you're, like, awkward when you're in a shoot or, like, like, trying to choreograph something. It just feels so awkward. I like, rather know somebody and have that camaraderie between us to be able to be more comfortable in, like, asking them to try something different, or, like, I kind of know how they react if I say something like this. So, but yeah, I feel like that's such an underrated, like, part. And, like, obviously you need to, like, pick and choose, because some people are, like, in it for the wrong reasons in, like, the creative space, and, like, you'll probably be able to tell pretty quick if you're going to be friends with somebody. But I don't know, at least, like, putting on, like, a happy smile, like, even if you're like, I'm probably never going to be friends with this person, but even putting on that smile and, like, trying to be friends for the hour or two that you're together, I think is, like, so important, and makes the pictures turn out way, way better. So
yeah, I agree. I think it's cool you mentioned, like, at the end they start to get better, because
literally all the time.
You just get more comfortable. I think it's every shot I've been on, every time I've modeled, it's always, like, weird at first, then you kind of get comfortable, you kind of know what you're doing. Everyone kind of just, like, starts falling into that place, and you're saying make it easier just by, like, starting that process before you even shoot.
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think I've ever, I mean, I probably have at some point, but I really don't think I've ever taken, like, the first photo. Because obviously when I take photos, I have, like, 1,000 pictures. Like, at the end of a shoot, I almost have never taken the first one. Almost never. Like, it's so rare that the first picture I take of a shoot is actually going to be, like, an edited asset that I deliver to somebody. Yeah. It's almost non-existent. Like, that first picture, they're always so weird. Like, the first burst of pictures that I take are never, like, keepers. It's always, I almost treat that as, like, a test run. I'm just, like, kind of, like, testing out my settings and, like,
sound check. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just kind of doing, like, a pulse check sort of, which, like, obviously you're trying to take good pictures, but, like, literally almost all the time, it really comes down to, like, once you get that familiarity with each other and you start, like, cracking jokes and, like, smiling a little bit, everything becomes so much easier. And, like, the back half pictures are always, for me, I don't know if that's, like, an individual. I want to talk to another photographer about that and see if that's, like, an individual experience.
No, it has to be, because every time I've done it too, I've been like, everyone gets more comfortable in their, like, you know what I mean? Everyone's cold. Everyone's kind of just, like, talking and stuff, and, like, oh, we should do this more. Like, once their brain kind of starts working with you and you kind of work with the photographer and stuff, it's kind of like a well-oiled machine almost, at least for most shoots I've been on. But the next thing I want to ask is for the people at home, if they're trying to start today, trying to follow the Brayden way, you know, where would you, if you had to start today, start? You know, where would you kind of, to at least get your first kind of initial feet in the door?
I think I would start literally what I talked about earlier. I would literally start by trying to like make friends. Like literally don't even start. Like obviously, let's say you're trying to do photography and I'm kind of taking into account that you're taking pictures, quote unquote. But I would literally recommend like trying to make friends first. Like if you know like somebody's throwing a fashion show and you like the stuff they do, go to their fashion show and like try to find like the guy who owns it and like talk to him and just be like, yo, like think your work is sick. Talk to him, like crack jokes, like just try to be friends first. People are so much more inclined to work with somebody who they are friendly with. Like if they don't know you, they like, I mean, the only thing you're relying on is them seeing your pictures randomly on Instagram or something, be like, oh, he takes cool pictures. But like almost all the time, it really doesn't even matter how good your pictures are. You have to be like a cool person and like actually have that relationship with them. Like, and if you don't, you're really just not going to get gigs. I mean, you might get some, but I've found that it's like by far the easiest to start that way. And obviously, like you have to build up your craft. I always recommend, I think free work is like the most essential thing that people have to do as a photographer, which I think that's kind of like a cliche answer. And I think people at this point kind of know that you need to do free work. But as you're like building stuff up, like you have to do free work. And even I still do free work now. Like I don't care. Like if it's something that I'm not comfortable in, and I will say there's something so freeing about doing free work because you kind of go in and it's like if every picture I take, if my camera breaks and like my footage gets corrupted, like your good old friend, it doesn't matter. Like I'm not getting paid for this, so like it's so freeing to me to just go to a shoot and like no, I'm not getting paid. Like I did like that runway the other day, for example, and I didn't get paid to do a runway, but I'm like it's so nice that I could just go here and like not have to worry about like, oh, I have to make sure I get these specific deliverables or I have to have this very specific like framing of stuff to like get. I'm just going for like what I think is cool, and like if they don't like it, then you didn't pay me, so like it's whatever. Like just don't take the pictures. Don't. Yeah, there's literally no risk in it. Like it's so freeing to go to a shoot and just kind of be able to just take whatever you want, I guess, and it also gives you so much good practice. And a lot of people are like inclined to like let you work for free because I mean, what's the risk for them? Like you go, like best case scenario, your pictures are fire and they post them and they can use them for advertisements, and if not, they just don't use them. Like it's not like they paid you; they have no risk in it. So like, I definitely like recommend free work because I mean it's just like such a cheat code. Like you'd be surprised how many people will just let you do like free work. Like something I'm probably gonna start doing, which I probably should have done earlier, is like cold emailing for free work. Like just literally reaching out to anybody and just seeing if they'll let you take pictures because. To me, I think that increases your like snowball effect. I think everyone who's a photographer has to kind of ride this like snowball. Like at first when you start, like no one's really going to care. Obviously, you just kind of make stuff that's cool to you. And then once you start getting eyeballs on yourself, like it kind of starts snowballing and you kind of have to hop in and just like keep spinning, I guess. And so that's something that I'm trying to do now. But the free work has helped like immensely with that because the number of eyes you get on your stuff. Yeah. And like, dude, you could do a free shoot. You just never know. You can do a free shoot for somebody and it gets like 20K views on their platform. And then, I don't know, 5 people see that post and they're like, who took these? These are really good. I want to book with that person. So you could get 5 gigs out of a free gig. And that's how almost all of my businesses came. Like as of the past ish year or so, like it's been free work. Somebody saw my free work that I did with somebody and they're like, yo, like you took these pictures, like I want to book with you. So I don't know. It's like free in the immediate sense, but like it almost always leads to like extra stuff in the future. If you are looking for that like fiscal payout from it, like it has that tenfold, I think, just because you get so much more eyes on your stuff. And it's so hard as like individual freelancer to like do social media, especially like I feel so terrible. Like I hate doing TikTok and I'm like relatively personable, I guess, in terms of like making friends and stuff. But I know there's people who make super cool shit out there that hate they're not going to do TikTok. Like they don't care. Like why would I do TikTok? Like, so stuff like that. That's why the free work is always so good, is because it gives you that extra platform to kind of go out and you don't have to necessarily just like do all the corny like edited TikToks yourself or like do all the different Instagram reels that you know are going to get views but you don't really care about them per se. So that's probably like the biggest advice I could give is free work. And then I don't know, I guess not like conforming to like trends is such a cliche one, but I guess in this day and age, like there's so much, to me there's better ways to at least start like in terms of making your stuff. And I guess like you push, like literally just doing it, and then that extra step of staying consistent with it. You can't be like the New Year's resolution person to like pick up something and then by February you're done with it. Like you gotta start, and you really gotta stay consistent. Like you gotta do it.
Yeah.
And just love what you do, man. You gotta love what you do. Like
Honestly.
if you don't love it, then don't do it. To me, like if you don't love it, then especially with photography, I mean, it's kind of the same, I guess, in all creative aspects. But if you're in it for the money, then you're like, you probably just shouldn't be doing it. Like I just think that it's not like the most go trade Bitcoin or something. You know what I mean? Like just it's not about like money for me personally. You know what I mean? Like I think you have to love it, and if you don't, like just
I also feel like when you try to go for the money, it just never comes for some reason.
No, yeah, I mean, like
you'll end up getting like a few jobs, you're like, wow, I'm making money, and then you're like, what?
I feel like people can just tell you're like ravenous for like money, like you're just foaming at the mouth.
Yeah,
bread.
like it's almost like
ew,
counterintuitive.
God.
Like once you kind of just open yourself up to everything, and like you have your own vision, the people who your ideal client is not like the hedge fund or like the real estate agent. You know what I mean? If your ideal client is anyone who's willing to give you a shot, eventually your lane will form itself. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Where it could be, I want to just be a photographer. You know, it's as open as that is. You know what I mean? Edit the pictures, post them on your TikTok. You know, do whatever you want to do. But eventually you'll start finding out that, wow, indie artists really like me, and I really like filming indie artists, taking pictures of them. You may not have ever even thought about that. Maybe you're a huge rap guy, you know, but maybe you kind of just find yourself in that lane through just doing your work.
Absolutely.
You know, and it just, I think, again, for you at home, just kind of open yourself up to like what could happen. It's interesting you say that there's trends in photos, though. I never even really thought of that. Like, but I understand exactly what you mean.
No, yeah, I mean, and like I know how like the algorithm works for like I know what I would have to do to like do this like random reel or something and like get a lot of views on it, because this is like I know this is what's gonna work on like the algorithm, but it's like truly there's something inside of me that just won't let me do it. I just can't. Like I'll post like my pictures and I'll maybe try to put like a spin on my pictures or something when I post them or something like that to at least like kind of like have a little bit of engagement, but I can't do it like in me to like just like pick up a mic and like do all the like trendy stuff. It just, I don't know, it feels so counterintuitive to me. And I don't know, I feel like we're kind of in the age, and I think me and you have talked about this before, but we've grown up with phones. Like we're kind of past the point of like technology being new, and I think people have too much media literacy now to like, people can tell when you want money from something. Like you can almost sniff out when something's like a cash grab or something. That's why I've always told you about like any like free things that I'm trying to do, is because I feel like people can tell whenever like they're like, this is bullshit. Like I can tell you're doing this for money. And like people don't want to like put their time into stuff that they can tell is only for money. Like for example, I got accepted into like a South by Southwest photo gallery, right? Because I like applied to it and I got in and everything. And I was like, oh, that's like super cool. And they were like, yeah, so like just pay the application fee to get into the photo gallery, and then pay this extra thing, and then you can like, we'll put your pictures in. And I'm like, bro, I'm not, this is dumb. Like that's I can tell that this is like a money grab. Like why would I do that? I don't care.
Yeah.
Like I can tell you guys are just trying to make money, and like, I don't know. That's like a struggling topic because I know that like people want to make money, but to me, in terms of like respecting the art form, that to me just feels like a weird way. I mean, I understand that like people can maybe get their photos out there and it might be a good opportunity for certain people, but to me it just feels a little money grabby-ish. You know what I mean? Especially like people saying that like it's always so like misguided in terms of people like posting and being like open submissions, and they're like, you got in, buddy, like holy hell, that's crazy, we're accepting you. And then you find out that they accept anybody who will pay. Like, they don't care, like, who it is. You could take pictures of your feet, and they'll put them in their gallery. Because if you pay them, like, they don't care.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Stuff like that is always just so, like, interesting to me. But, yeah, that kind of brings me back to, like, I don't know. Money is, like, not all of it. And, like, people can kind of tell when you're doing something for money. And it just kind of, I guess, turns me off of, like, what people do in terms of their creative process. So I don't know, just I guess like falling in love with that kind of stuff is always like the best route. And even if you don't see like the returns from it, like just make stuff you like and you're proud of. And
literally
it's really like, you can't die with money. I know it's like the age old adage, but you know,
my whole goal with this everything is not even to make money at all. Like the end goal is like, it's weird to say counterintuitively to like, oh, I have a clothing brand, I want to make money. It's like, not really. I kind of just want to inspire people to do something cool. Like, can you get off your ass and just do something? You know what I mean? Like, it's just, there's so much, like, people are just so focused on their money or like their 9 to 5 or paying their bills that it's like, man, you could have been such a great photographer. You could have been such a great designer if you just And it's not even like you have to commit so much time. Bro, I spend no money on my company. I just spend nothing. I just work with cool people. I just DM people, or people DM me. I just post a little TikTok of me talking my shit, and I end up getting 1,500 DMs to go like model for, like it's
that we scrolled through individually.
That sucked. It was fun though. But I mean, like there's so much things that there's so much you can do for free, man. There's so many, like the first event that we're probably gonna host is gonna, like, I told you about it where we're gonna do it, but like it's gonna be free. Like, and I'm hosting it for free. I have to pay nothing. I threw an event at Art Basel in Miami for free, $0. I went up to a random, I DM'd 50 bars and I said, can I just come here, bring you guys guests? You keep all the money. I just want to throw a little event. And most people were like, sure, why not?
Yeah.
Like, there's so much you can do. Money, like, is not a reason to not start. Like, I've started a fashion thing with a broken sewing machine and like $5 jeans from Goodwill. And I just try to deconstruct them and add flares to them. Like, if you just have a little bit of grit, it's almost impossible, like, to fail. Like, and again, the success part of it is, did you do something? You know, when I first made those first pair of jeans, I was like, I did it. You know what I mean?
Right,
I'm already a fashion designer.
Well, and I think you want to organically make money, right? Like, everyone wants to make money, obviously. Yeah. It's just kind of how you, like, go about making money. If you go about it in, like, a positive way and, like, I don't know, like, you can almost tell when, like, something is structured only to make money. And there's a difference between that and, like, you just organically gain money off of, like, people. Let's say you make, like, merch or something, and, like, the merch is something you've been working on for a really long time, and people love it, and, like, you don't even, like, you don't even try crazy to sell it, but it's like, hey, like, if you want to be a part of, like, this and, like, you enjoy what we're doing, like, with your brand, for example, like, people come to a photo shoot and, like, let's say it's a brand new photographer and, like, you know, they come to the photo shoot and they're like, wow, I met, like, so many cool people. I love, like, talking to all these people. And you just happen to have merch and they're like, I kind of want to, like, be a part of, like, what that is. You know what I mean? That's, to me, like, organically making money. And that's, like, different than, like, you're making, like, trendy clothes on, like, Zara or something like that, or you know, whatever the brand may be. And it's like, okay, this is, like, we don't care about this, but we're just making money off of it. And it's like, there's a difference between doing stuff for the craft and organically making money from that than, like, you can very much tell somebody's, like, just doing a cash grab for something.
For sure. Yeah, that is my whole goal, is, like, the money I'm going to make off the hats I sell or anything I do sell is pretty much just to go into me building a store. So that store, again, my whole concept with it is to have, I want it to be a third space where you can just hang out there for 8 hours and it not be weird if you don't buy clothes. I want you to just be there and hang out, and, like, I want to literally have a table in the middle, a giant table where, like, you can buy our hats or products. But then at the end of the night, we take everything off, and that is our design table. That is where we cut and sew our clothes.
Right.
That is where we live stream an actual design meeting of us, so you can actually learn from wherever you are, like, what we're doing and what makes sense for us. So you can potentially do the same thing. That's why we're doing this, you know, to inspire people to keep doing, you know, cool things. That's the whole goal. And if you support us financially, great. We're going to put it right back into the company to do more cool shit. So it's never been a point of me to, like, oh, I want to peace out to the south of France, chill out, and, like, you know, it'd be cool, you know.
Yeah.
But, like,
to close out with, like, the whole money talk, I've also, I guess, just in terms of, like, as I've been looking more into, like, what people make money off of, I've learned that people, like, don't necessarily care to put money into something, even if they don't even get that much of a return from it. Like, just because of the, like, camaraderie that you get from it. Like, this is, like, kind of a pseudo example, but, like, take, like, Twitch streaming, for example. Bro, like, these people don't get really anything in return from, like, subbing. I mean, you get, like, no ads, but, like, who cares, right? Like, people are giving these people money, these streamers money for virtually nothing but, like, their, like, camaraderie. You know what I mean? Like, and so I've kind of, like, found that, I guess, like, the authenticity sometimes does just, like, work. And people don't necessarily sometimes care if, like, there's, like, a tangible product behind it, if, like, they can kind of get behind what the vision is, I guess, and you just want to, like, feel like you're a part of this, like, vision. Like, I have a Discord with some of my buddies, and we have, like, a premium, and, I mean, we do, like, some stuff, but realistically, we don't offer, like, that much stuff. And, like, it's not, like, really expensive. It's, like, $3 or $4 a month or something like that. But we have, like, so many people who join it just to, like, get the cool check mark and, like, just be, like, a part of our, like, group. You know what I mean? So, like, and it's not like they're getting, like, $100,000 when they sign up or something. Like, it's not like the benefits are this crazy tangible thing. But, like, people sometimes just, like, love to buy into, like, something that's authentic and cool and, like, just, like, a cool project that people are building. And I don't know. I feel like that's kind of, like, a shift, I guess. Because, like, went from such a weird thing of, like, with, like, Supreme and Bape and, like, all these, like, and, like, even the shoe game. Like, it was, like, very consumerism based. And it was, like, this product and I put money into this. But, like, if you look at it, like, Supreme and Bape really aren't, like, that big anymore. The shoe game is, like, dead, like, crazy. Like, people wear New Balances now. Like, that's literally all people wear. Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, people So I don't know. It kind of feels like it's like kind of going through this like weird cultural shift where like people are kind of being able to tell that something is just like a product being made for money, and they're like, I don't really care about that. Like if you like have a cool message and a cool vision, like I'd love to put. Dude, side note, there's people on TikTok who like post videos of like them going to help people, and then like the next day, like they'll literally start a GoFundMe for this like homeless person that they found and like talked to and shared their story or something. And dude, they'll raise like $1 million for this homeless person. And I'm like, bro, it's like cool to see people putting their money into like way cooler stuff than just like tangible products now, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. I feel like that's been like a big shift since like, I don't know, around like 2014, 15, 16 sort of, you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to put a cap on like the money thing.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
it's really cool to see like people not necessarily being vested in like, oh, I have to get like this in return, which all kind of ties back to like what we were talking about doing free work. Like, I don't know, people are starting to like, I guess, care less about like what do I get in return, sort of.
Yeah, I want it to all be like this is our thing, and that's why people will support it. It's like this is my thing. You know what I mean? This is my group. This is where I live. This is my thing I'm invested in. You know what I mean? But besides the whole money thing, one thing I want to ask you is, let's say you just want to do something photography related, right? Where do you think is like literally ground zero? Like, what's the first thing you're gonna do? Do you think it's buy a camera? Do you think it's because that's like a big thing? I think because it's a big financial investment when I bought my camera.
Absolutely.
You know? Do you think it's important to buy the camera, to research, to like just go on YouTube and just shoot, or iPhone?
No, I mean I like I was telling you earlier, I literally shot on my mom's. I didn't upgrade cameras for probably 8 years. I literally like my mom like, and you'd be surprised like how easily you could probably get your hands on a camera. Like it doesn't you don't have to go out and get an A7 like for your first camera. Like that doesn't have to be. And I mean it's kind of cliche. Like I think like no one knows like, or everybody knows that you don't necessarily have to like have this crazy camera, because like a big thing in the photography community is like the gear doesn't matter. Like which like the gear, it's like a mix. Obviously the gear does like sort of matter. Like it's going to be different between like a point and shoot versus like an A7 or something, obviously. But you have to get your hands on some kind of camera. It doesn't really matter. I mean, it needs to be like, don't make it like a camera from Walmart that's like very tiny or something. But like, honestly, even if you go get like disposable cameras and like, I mean, obviously those are like way less expensive. Go like get disposable cameras and like practice taking pictures on those and seeing how the results turn out, and do one disposable camera like in 1 month. Do them over 4 months and like look at like your first one and like the most recent one and see if you got any better. Like that's like, you can find so many different ways to like actually have a tangible path to get like better at creating. But I mean, you can find like a camera anywhere. I mean, I guess in terms of base, it's really like what you preach is like, you just have to kind of go do like, find like your friends, take pictures of your friends, go out literally just go out with your camera and don't even have like an agenda. Just be like, I'm going to go stand on the street and I'm going to take pictures of what I see. Because, like, honestly, like, finding your eye is kind of, I think, the most important thing, which, like, it takes forever to, like, develop your eye and your style. But just, like, learning, like, how certain things need to be framed. And what I've noticed, especially with, like, I see, like, I'm on, like, photographer TikTok. So I get a bunch of, like, oh, I'm a beginner photographer. Like, what do you think about these? And, like, what I'll notice is that, like, I think the most important thing is learning, like, what makes a picture interesting. Like, because I'll see, like, somebody who says they're a beginner photographer and, like, they'll post something and I'll be like, it's a great picture, like, technically, but, like, I'm just like, you know, there's, like, really nothing for me to, like, attach to. It's, like, a picture of a tree or something. And, like, you kind of have to start figuring out how to, like, frame things interestingly, or, like, what are you going to tell in the image? Because, like, obviously anybody can go out with, like, the best camera ever and take a picture of something, but you'd be like, I mean, there's really, like, I can't really attach to anything in here. I just don't know what I'm really looking at. And, like, they always, like, I've seen, like, photographers asking for tips in terms of, like, on, like, the beginner photographer TikTok or whatever. And I don't know, I kind of find it hard to, like, because I'm like, the pictures are great, but, like, just, like, you got to find, like, what's interesting. Like, it kind of becomes hard to, like, that's just something you can only learn by experience, of like looking at your own pictures over and over and over again. Because like what you find interesting in like the second day you have a camera is gonna be way different than what you find interesting like 5 years after you have a camera. So you kind of just have to like, I mean, pick up a camera and go do and like start trying to develop like what is interesting. Like, why do people care to like look at this? Because, and I mean, not everything has to have that. And I mean, it's gonna take a while for you to develop that anyways. So I don't know, just like grabbing a camera, whatever that camera may be, and like going out and just trying to take pictures. Obviously, like at some point, if you really want to do photography, you're gonna have to get like a camera. Just get a Best Buy card, put on the Best Buy card, pay that thing off. I'm still paying off my camera to this day. So.
It is a sick camera though.
Yeah, I mean, it's good.
So how do you feel about editing? Do you think editing is something they should learn early on as well?
I mean, yes, like that's literally just something that like takes brute force practice. Honestly, I mean, you can go on like I will say I have no formal training in anything photography. I've never taken like a class or like anything like that. Everything I've done is self-taught, and it obviously takes a long time. Like it's like anything else. Like if you want to learn something from scratch, obviously it's gonna take a long time. Like it's gonna take a lot of like random hours where you're looking stuff up or figuring stuff out. But in terms of editing, that's just something that literally takes like brute force and like finding what like your editing style is. Like I'm still not even the best at editing. I think I'm like getting better as I go. And I will say like the more pictures you take, the easier editing becomes because you're practicing it so much. Like if you only are doing a shoot per month, you're only editing once per month. You know what I mean? So like you can only edit as much shoots as you have. So like you really just want to like continually take pictures and try to edit. And I don't know. I also am not like the best editor. There's also people who like do crazy like retouching and finding out stuff like that. But I mean, it's literally like just brute force practice. But it does stem from taking photos. Like if you don't have photos to edit, like you're not editing anything. So like it's kind of like a double-edged sword. You kind of got to get out there and take the pictures first before you start like editing and everything. So
only way to learn guitar is by playing the damn thing.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, man. You got to strum that sucker.
Yeah, honestly. Well, I appreciate you, my brother. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, time flies, man.
What is right?
Beasted through that.
What is next for Brayden?
Wow, what is next for Brayden? I have no clue. I mean, I have I just really want to make cool stuff. Like I like not necessarily having like a structured plan. I don't necessarily want to like pigeonhole myself into like, oh, this is exactly where I'm going next. Like I don't know. I don't really like feeling like, oh, because if I set that, then I have to do it. I don't want to set that for myself. I kind of just like being a little chaotic with like where things go and like trying to kind of figure it out like creatively. And I don't know, I'm going to like keep doing, I guess, what I'm doing now, but it seems to be like relatively working. I'm going to keep doing free things. I do free things all the time. I'm going to keep doing all my free stuff. I'm getting like a decent amount of like gigs, so I'll keep doing those. One of my photos shoots is going to be like in a magazine, so that's cool. It's like coming out. And then, yeah, just like reaching out to maybe like some brands and stuff. Like, I guess just trying to like do what I do now, except like maybe one step up. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Try to get to like maybe like some cool local business that I like really enjoy their work. And it's like, hey, how can we like beneficially, work together? I'll get you good content and you have like the capital influx to like maybe give me a little bit of money on the side. But like, I don't know. I don't necessarily ever try to charge people like a ton of money. And I don't know. I like to charge what I feel like I'm worth. A lot of photography, that's like such a taboo thing, is like you're charging way too little. And I'm like, honestly, like, come on, guys. Like, come on, guys. You shot for 30 minutes. Yeah, like, do we need $1,000 for this? Like, come on. Like, I don't know. I try to be like very reasonable because I don't know. I know how it is like coming up. And obviously, like, I want to make money off of doing photography, but I know how it is like when you're first starting, or like if you're a model who wants to build a portfolio, like not all of us have like a ton of money. So like, I don't know. I try not to like price gouge people over like some small stuff. And I do so many things like for free. Like if a model who's like really cool like hits me up and they're like, yo, like I don't have any money, but I was like curious if you wanted to like do a shoot, and like so I would be like, sure, like screw it, like why not, like let's get some cool portfolio for both of us. Like I don't really care. And like those relationships help you out so much too. Like, you never know, that person could start modeling for Prada and they're like, this guy did a shoot for me. They bring me up on stage like when they accept an award or something. I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know. But yeah, no, I'm not trying to like break the wheel or anything or reinvent the wheel, I guess. Like just trying to like do what I think is cool, and that's what I'm gonna do tomorrow and the next day. I think like just whatever the hell I think is cool. I'm just gonna keep like doing that, I guess, until my legs give out. Honestly, that's really all I care about at the moment. And then, yeah, I guess, like, one other thing is treating myself, I guess, a little bit more seriously. I tend to, like, undervalue, like, my pictures, and not, like, undervalue them, because I always think the shit that I do is cool. But, like, I don't know, like, it's just kind of, like, whenever you send your stuff out into the world, it's always like, oh, are they going to like them? You know what I mean? Yeah. But, like, I don't know. Just always try to, like, stick to what I think is cool. And, like, even if that means, like, missing out on some stuff, like, or, like, maybe I don't get, like, this $600 gig because they want the person who's like a little bit more like professional and does this for a living. But like, I don't know, I'd rather do like all the cool shit and make like the small money where it comes than like kind of confine myself into that like one space for money. So that's way the best. Yeah, man. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, bro. Thank you. Yeah, bro. Fucking wrapped, man.
Yes, sir. There you go. We'll put all his socials in the bio, but thank you. This has been the 4th conversation with A New Renaissance. Love you.
Peace.
And that's it. There you go.